Heavy rain today for much of the state and more on the way. Tracking storms across Utah causing some flooding issues across the state. What you can expect into the overnight hours and for your Thursday morning drive.
Students sent home early because of all this rain. Tonight, the damage at one Utah high school and the job of cleaning it all up.
Mud, rock, debris, just some of the things left over from the last time the Jacob City burn scar flooded last month. What residents are doing this time around to prepare for possible flooding.
After two topless female fans show up at the University of Utah football game, the school considers a policy change, and it will impact everyone.
The fact that there's a chance for me to brighten somebody else's day besides mine is really good.
A Draper man initially putting his health first, but now it also includes his community. We'll explain.
Live from Utah's news leader, Fox 13 News at 9 starts right now.
Our top story tonight is the weather. The sky opened up in northern Utah today, impacting many in a big way.
We do have team coverage for you tonight. Fox 13 News reporter Jenna Bree is taking a look at how that weather caused major damage at one Salt Lake Valley school.
But we start with Utah's weather authority. Allison, we need the rain, but in some places this was just too much of a good thing.
That's right. So we saw about 1.5 inches of rain on the east side of the Salt Lake Valley earlier today. We still have some thunderstorms going on the west side of the Salt Lake Valley. It's a live look from the Natural History Museum. We're seeing lightning every few moments on this camera. Temperature is 64 degrees in Salt Lake currently, 65 for Ogden, and 62 currently in Provo. This is the cell that we're watching. These storms are now along I-80 just west of Grantsville, so on the southwest end of the Great Salt Lake. We've seen wind gusts up to 50 miles per hour. We've seen some hail with these storms and also some brief heavy rainfall. Most of the Wasatch Front currently dry. Still a few thunderstorms across southern Utah out towards Boulder and over towards Beaver. So what we're going to be watching for you through this evening will continue to be some isolated thunderstorms, and temps here in Salt Lake City will be in the 60s for much of the night. Thanks to that cloud cover, we won't cool off too much. But when you wake up tomorrow morning, close to 60 for the Wasatch Front. Keep the umbrella handy across northern Utah with more storms in the forecast. What you can expect tomorrow coming up.
Weather was to blame for a semi-truck jackknifing this afternoon on the ramp from I-215 west to westbound I-80. The ramp was shut down for hours. UHP says the driver lost control on the wet pavement. No other vehicles were involved. Only minor injuries were reported.
Those heavy rains brought flooding to streets, homes, and even schools. Water rushed into hallways and classrooms at Skyline High School in Mill Creek near the end of the school day.
And that is where we find Fox 13 News reporter Jenna Bree tonight. Jenna, how is the school drying out?
Bob and Kelly, I was just inside the school about an hour ago, and crews were still cleaning up the water. Now, flooding is not out of the ordinary for Highland. The Granite School District says historically floods happen about twice a year ever since the school was built in 1962 with a roof and atriums that weren't designed for Utah's climate. District spokesperson Ben Horsley says the flooding is one of the primary reasons the district is rebuilding Skyline.
This is a little bit excessive, and we've generally not seen it happen traditionally during the school day. Sometimes a little bit of leaking at night, but generally on average, once or twice a year, we do see rainwater, stormwater problems and leaking into the facility. I haven't seen it in my 14 years with Granite impact a school day like this.
Luckily, the impact to teens and teachers today was minimal. Students in a couple of flooded classrooms got sent home 10 minutes early. Play practice in the auditorium was canceled, but the school district does expect the cleanup to be complete tonight, and students should expect to start school on time tomorrow morning. Reporting live in Mill Creek, Jenna Bree, Fox 13 News, Utah.
Thanks, Jenna. Wet weather in Tooele County has residents preparing for possible flooding, and that includes the area near the Jacob City burn scar in Soldier Canyon.
Fox 13 News reporter Chris Arnold spoke with residents in Tooele and county officials about what they're doing to help protect people and their homes.
Last summer, when was it last summer when the water flooded through downtown Tooele, and that was a bit shocking.
Which is why Tooele resident Roberta Scortis isn't taking any chances.
I bought a 102-year-old home and I totally remodeled it.
Wednesday afternoon, Scortis and her son stopped by this sandbagging station in Tooele, loading up 6 bags that she hopes will protect her home from possible flooding.
And then when they offered free sandbags, my son offered to help me fill some so we could block off the garage.
Other areas in Tooele County are doing the same. Sand was dropped off at the Stockton Ballpark just down the street from Soldier Canyon.
We're encouraging all of the residents throughout the county to prepare their properties, to prepare their lots to try to prevent any kind of water from inundating their homes into their basements.
Last month, residents in that area had to be evacuated because of flooding, due in part to the Jacob City burn scar, left over from a wildfire that burned about 4,000 acres in July. Bucky Whitehouse with Tooele County Emergency Services says this area is a cause for concern with an inch of rain or greater expected today.
If it gets the right amount of water in a short period of time, and rain over the course of 6 hours is one thing, but heavy intense rain over a short period of time will create what we have here today.
Whitehouse says they will have county crews out monitoring areas like Soldier Canyon and across the county during the rain. If needed, he says they will alert residents if they feel the need to evacuate.
Especially if they live in a vulnerable area for flooding events, to be prepared to leave their homes on short notice. So to understand what valuables they might need to take and then where they need to go.
While eyes are on how the area near the Jacob City burn scar could be impacted, others like Scortis are hoping to be prepared for any possible flooding as well.
I think that'll hold. I'll probably just hang on to those and store them on the side of the house and use them again anytime there's a need.
Well, Whitehouse pointed out that they have also staged equipment in several areas if needed as well to help with any potential flooding. Now also sandbagging stations like this, again, are set up at the Stockton Ballpark and at several locations across the county for people to utilize. In Stockton, Chris Arnold, Fox 13 News, Utah.
In other news tonight, the Cache County Sheriff's Office is reporting an incident of sexual assault at Ridgeline High School in Millville.
They say they were notified of an alleged hazing-type incident on a district school bus while it was returning from an out-of-county sports event last month. Investigators say 3 juvenile suspects allegedly engaged in or attempted to engage in sexual assaults with several juvenile victims. The sheriff's office says they know these types of incidents cause a great deal of concern for parents.
It is so uncommon. I believe we do a good job of taking care of the kids, and this educational part that's done in the schools, and we'll obviously continue to do that. The schools do a much better job now in providing counseling services, and hopefully we can get this situation resolved.
Investigators have requested the 3 juvenile suspects be charged with 1 count of forcible sexual abuse and 1 count of attempted forcible sexual abuse.
The University of Utah is considering new rules after 2 female fans went topless at last weekend's Utes football game, wearing only body paint from the waist up. A spokesperson tells Fox 13 News the school may ban everyone from going topless, regardless of gender. Andy McCullough, who is a volunteer attorney with the ACLU and is a member of the First Amendment Lawyers Association, says if the school bans bare chests of any gender, there may still be legal issues.
If they put up signs and say, okay, from now on, no bare chests, period, and nobody objects to it, it's over. Do I think someone will? Yes.
McCullough says if someone does file a lawsuit, the legal issues would not be cut and dried because criminal intent would have to be established. University police continue to investigate the 2 women and may file criminal charges.
A 4th case of avian influenza has been confirmed at a turkey farm in Sanpete County. Officials with the Utah Department of Agriculture and Food say this is concerning due to the close proximity of other turkey farms in the county. They say they will be doing phone calls and going door to door in surrounding areas of the confirmed case to help prevent further spread. We do have an update from Unified Police tonight.
A 14-year-old boy who was missing from the Mill Creek area since last night has been found safe. Since he has been found, Fox 13 News is no longer identifying him.
A public school with ties to the polygamous Kingston group gets to keep its board, but Vanguard Academy could still be shut down. We'll show you why the state is reversing some of its decisions after the break.
Elizabeth Smart and Southern Utah University team up to offer self-defense courses to every student.
I kind of almost feel like if I stop, I'm letting some people down. So they don't realize that they're kind of inspiring me to keep at it. So it's been a win-win.
What started as a personal goal has turned into a way to lift his community spirits. Our story from Draper coming up.
Just into the Fox 13 newsroom, the Utah Department of Environmental Quality now warning people in Sunset to use caution before drinking their tap water. They say there is too much fluoride right now in the water. Residents should run all taps for 3 to 5 minutes before drinking.
Utah Senator Mike Lee joined a group at the nation's capital today calling on President Biden to help bring home a U.S. Navy lieutenant currently being held in a Japanese prison. Lieutenant Ridge Alconis was convicted of negligent driving last October after he was accused of falling asleep at the wheel and causing a crash that took the lives of 2 Japanese citizens. Alconis maintains he became unconscious due to a medical emergency.
This was an accident. It was an accident brought about by a medical emergency, one that was neither foreseen nor foreseeable by Lieutenant Ridge Alconis.
Mr. President, all we are asking for is for you to please meet with me. Please allow my children and I just a few minutes of your time.
Senator Lee says the case could hurt the U.S. relationship with Japan and argues that's all the more reason why Lieutenant Alconis needs to be brought home.
Utah Congressman Blake Moore has introduced a bill that would allow pharmacists to deny medications for elective abortions. The proposed Pharmacist Conscience Protection Act is intended to stop pharmacists' involvement in abortions, citing First Amendment rights. Representative Moore says the bill would, quote, ensure that pharmacists are able to make the medical decisions that are best for the health of the mother and the life of the child and the integrity of their practice.
Your doctors can advise you as much as possible, but they can never force you to do anything. And by creating this, it almost takes that away from you. You would have to go find a new doctor.
Abortion advocates are also worried the bill will stop people from getting other medications. Common drugs like Accutane, they do have the potential to harm pregnancies, but it's not the intended use. The bill will likely prevent access to these medications.
You know what? I'm just going to wave to everybody. And so ever since then, I just wave to every car.
It started as a way for him to better his own health, but has now turned into a community staple. This man in the Suncrest community of Draper takes it upon himself to walk up the mountain each morning and does it in a way that is getting everybody involved in his journey. Fox 13 News anchor Brian Schnee got the chance to meet the man for a rare afternoon walk today.
He hopes to continue inspiring others with his steps that are positively Utah.
As cars head down this busy street in Draper each morning, Lauren Dalton is typically walking up that street.
And I think she called me the man that walks the mountain.
Lauren walks between 8 and 8:30 a.m. 5 days a week, from the bottom of the Traverse Mountain area to the top of the mountain in the Suncrest community. But on Wednesday, he walked in the afternoon to give us a glimpse of his daily journey.
I walked from there up to the house. It's 3.8 miles. It's just barely under 1,300 feet elevation change. So it's a good workout.
Lauren says he began doing these walks as a way to lose weight. And while that's still some motivation behind his daily stroll, he says they also serve a greater purpose.
The waving is that's what kind of makes it fun for me.
Lauren not only walks the same route each day, He also waves at every single car that passes him by.
And I kind of hope that I lift somebody's spirits, you know, and I'll get waves back. I'll get people honking. I'm happy to hear that, you know, maybe some people are enjoying it.
Thanks to a few posts on social media, Lauren quickly realized.
How many times have you seen him out and about?
20, 25.
That a lot of people are enjoying his walk right alongside him.
I just love that he goes out 5 days a week and conquers that mountain.
Incorporating the wave is one thing, but this all started with Lauren taking his doctor's advice. Over the last year or so, he's lost roughly 50 pounds by hitting the pavement. And with each step and wave, his own daily routine is inspiring others.
You know, like some people have made the comments that it's made them want to pay it forward. And if that's the case, that's awesome, because it's really a little tiny thing that I'm doing. So if it's having any kind of impact to help other people do some great things, wow, that's amazing.
In Draper,
he is going to make an effort, not just to conquer that mountain, but to reach out and connect with the people who are driving by, which is a beautiful thing.
Brian Schnee, Fox 13 News, Utah.
Well, take a look at this. While the rain has been the big weather story of the day, video from Susan Jensen shows what appears to be a funnel cloud in Snowville. Utah's Weather Authority Allison Krogan tells us it was likely a landspout tornado, which forms differently than the more iconic and more dangerous supercell tornado. Landspouts form from ground circulation and are usually weak.
They can certainly pack a punch still. Man, so many great reports coming in today from different storms across the state. This was iconic. I saw this picture as well from Robin, and I knew I had to share this with you guys. What you're looking at right now is a thunderstorm from the St. George area facing south. This particular storm did have wind gusts about 50 miles per hour, and you can see the precipitation shaft at the bottom right here. And just the way the sunset illuminated this top of this cumulonimbus, just what a stunning view. I told her that I think this is probably the most beautiful sunset picture that I have seen all year. So thank you for sharing that with us. We also have some lightning out there. So driving home tonight, you very well could see some lightning strikes either close to you or off in the distance. Right now it's 64 in Salt Lake, 65 for Ogden, 62 for Provo, and for tomorrow for the commute. We could see a chance for, again, some thunderstorms tomorrow during the second half of the day and into the overnight hours tomorrow. Close to about 50 to 60 degrees for many of you for your morning drive with partly cloudy sky across northern Utah. So out in Tooele County along I-80 southwest side of the Great Salt Lake tonight, we do have still a few areas of lightning and moderate rainfall to heavy rainfall for a few areas. And then across southern Utah down towards Beaver over towards Boulder, we still also have a few scattered thunderstorms. Into the overnight hours here across the state, we'll keep that chance more isolated in nature. So some of you could see some storms, but many of you won't. And then into tomorrow evening, 7 o'clock, still some storms across central Utah, but a better chance for storms to develop for the Wasatch Front and up towards the Idaho border overnight into Friday morning. So come tomorrow, our best chance for storms will be from about Escalante further north, and we again could see some areas of heavy rainfall that's most likely into northern Utah. So overnight temps here across the state, it'll be about 55 to 65 for many of you. Highs tomorrow around 70 to 75 degrees. So temperatures are going to be close to average, if not a little below average. And then our wind will also be a little breezy at times tomorrow, looking at 5 o'clock, about 15 to 25 miles per hour for southwest Utah. St. George, your chance for storms will start to go up next week, but you're going to have a break the next few days. For Ogden, your best chance for storms from here on out will be Thursday night, widespread storms. Beyond that, widely scattered to scattered through Saturday. And for Utah County, widespread storms Thursday night, scattered Friday, widely scattered tomorrow. St. George around 85 to 90 with plenty of sunshine heading into this weekend, lows in the 60s. And for Salt Lake, we'll break down our rain chances later in the hour, but we're close to 80 over the next several days. Keep that umbrella handy. We do have more rain chances. We'll talk more about that later in the hour.
Thanks, Allison. Well, the Great Salt Lake certainly has received a lot of attention as of late, and today, some help in the form of habitats being built around it. We'll tell you for who and why.
And the largest one-time donation ever by the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Why they are giving so much and who it will benefit.
Welcome back, everyone. 40 new wetland basins are being constructed around the Great Salt Lake. The Nature Conservancy is working with Equinox Engineering to construct the wetlands. They're intended to reduce the amount of garbage in the water, also enhance wildlife habitats. Excess stormwater, like we got today, fills up the basins in Layton.
What we wanted to do is kind of take some of that water and hold it back into it and create some new wetlands and kind of create a more stable wetland habitat for some of the birds.
There is a mile-long boardwalk, also an observatory at the wetlands where people can watch and listen for wildlife.
The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints announced a donation of $32 million to hunger relief today. It is the church's largest one-time donation and is going to the United Nations World Food Program. The UN is calling the current situation a seismic hunger crisis. The money will help the more than 300 million people facing food insecurity worldwide.
We have to diversify our funding base and reaching out to the private sector, reaching out to faith-based organizations and knowing that our values are aligned.
The church regularly donates $1 billion annually to worldwide humanitarian efforts. A public school with ties to a polygamous group gets to keep its board after the state initially fired them. Coming up, why the academy could still be shut down.
I've always wondered that riding the train. I was like, I wonder what happened when a car hit this. Unluckily today, that happened.
A deadly collision in Salt Lake City. What one track's passenger says happened the moments the train collided with a car. The scope of a nationwide concern narrowed down to Utah.
We're just a couple days away from a potential railway strike. What that could mean for you and your wallet.
They've been warned, they've been told, they've been asked, they've been given extra resources to fix their problems. They're not going to put themselves back in order. They should be closed.
First they were fired, now they aren't. The 9 board members, each with ties to the polygamous Kingston group, have learned they will not be replaced after all. It's a complete 180 from the state's decision last month to remove Vanguard Academy's board.
But the school is still on probation and could still be shut down as early as November. Fox 13 News investigative reporter Adam Herbitz has tonight's update.
The first vote to fire Vanguard Academy's board got plenty of attention.
Next week, you'll have no students at that school. And the effect will be that this school will be out of business by this time next week.
Did you view it as a threat?
No question. No question.
But 2.5 weeks later, when the state charter school board changed its mind, they kept it under the radar, voting only after every member of the public left the meeting.
This is a lot of money that we're wasting.
Nearly 2 years ago, a Fox 13 News investigation revealed how the school board was spending millions of taxpayer dollars on family businesses. Most of the staff and students belong to the polygamous Kingston group.
The money continues to be spent on these same businesses that your board has concerns with.
There is continuing money being flowed to Vanguard.
And continuing money flowing from Vanguard to these businesses.
That's what it appears.
You have a lot of nepotism and you have a lot of people that are related. Charter schools are a very odd entity because they are just picked by their friends.
Senator Kathleen Reeby says she has always viewed replacing Vanguard's board as a weak move. She says the law is clear. The school should have been shut down months ago, if not last year.
We're not asking that school to do anything above and beyond. They're not following the same rules as every school district in the state. They have a different set of rules and they think that they are, they don't have to follow the other rules.
The state still has Vanguard Academy on probation and is appointing people to work with the school. If Vanguard does not fix its conflicts of interest, the law requires the state to propose a shutdown in November or December, or grant an extension.
We've asked them to fix it and rectify it, and they have refused.
This is how the state charter school board described its decision. Quote, "Our attempt to put in new board members was to give Vanguard Academy a tool to help them resolve the deficiencies. The deficiencies haven't gone away. We've just withdrawn that tool because it was obvious Vanguard Academy would not make use of it." Reporting in studio tonight, Adam Herbets, Fox 13 News, Utah.
The train made impact on the passenger side, so airbags probably saved the driver. Obviously, the passenger didn't come out of it.
A passenger on an Uber ride now dead after investigators say the driver ran a red light and hit a tracks train. The incident has UTA now asking drivers to be more careful.
Fox 13 News reporter Spencer Joseph spoke with one tracks rider about the frightening moments when the crash happened.
I was standing up. There wasn't a seat available, so I was standing up.
Jack Smeek was on the train when it happened.
I didn't see the car hit the train, but this lady next to me said that she saw it, and the car just never slowed down or anything, just hit right into the train. When it did hit, I kind of bounced over to the other side.
Investigators say that car ran a red light at West Temple and 700 South and collided with the tracks train.
Ran the red light, got hit by the train. Happened to be an Uber driver with one passenger.
That passenger was killed. The Uber driver was okay, and thankfully, Jack and all the other train passengers were as well, as first responders rushed to the scene.
I'd say within a minute or two. It was very, very quick.
Uber has issued a statement about the incident saying, quote, "Our hearts are with the riders' loved ones during their time of mourning. We have deactivated the driver, and we stand ready to assist law enforcement with their investigation."
He's cooperative and he's doing fine physically.
Uber has also just released a new report about the safety of their rides, saying only 0.0002% of rides end in a critical incident, adding that only 1 in every 140 million rides has ended in a fatality. But safety is still top of mind.
You'll never beat a train. A train is always faster than a car. And the hard thing, I think, with rideshare is a lot of times they rely on their GPS. And all it takes is that split second of them looking down at their phone and then looking up, realizing, oh my gosh, I just ran through a red light. And by that time, it's way too late.
This tragedy happened during Railway Safety Week, so UTA wants to remind everyone to use their brains around trains.
And it takes about 1.5 miles for a train to be able to stop. If you're approaching a light and it turns yellow, please slow down. Don't proceed through that light as fast as you can, especially today as you can see the rain out there. This just makes it so much harder for us.
So heed warnings and be very careful around trains with this morning's crash, a terrible reminder of the dangers. And Jack says it's something he doesn't want to relive.
I've always wondered that riding the train. I was like, I wonder what happened if a car hit this. Unluckily today that happened.
Spencer Joseph.
When you get in an accident with a train,
Fox 13 News.
The train usually wins.
Utah.
An advocate for victim rights and self-defense. Hear from Elizabeth Smart on why she's putting her name behind a class at a local university.
And before the start of Hispanic Heritage Month, one of Utah's largest Latino communities is celebrating a very important holiday.
These are all valuable skills for any college student.
Southern Utah University is the first college in the state to offer self-defense classes to students.
Fox 13 News political reporter Ben Winslow shows us how this is made possible through Elizabeth Smart's foundation and the university.
She's going to do a finger 360 roll, right back up.
Avery Hunter took her first self-defense class on Monday.
There are times, sometimes later at night, when I go to my parking lot, it's darker, and sometimes I think to myself, oh, what if something does happen?
But thanks to the class, the freshman student says she's already learning new skills.
Because of this class, I know I can walk through my parking lot with confidence and think if something does happen, I'm the one in control.
What is being taught is a lifelong skill.
Elizabeth Smart, who was kidnapped as a child and held captive for 9 months, announced her foundation is partnering with Southern Utah University to offer the Smart Defense course as a college credit. The Cedar City-based school isn't known for being particularly dangerous, but its president says the skills can be used anywhere.
It's important for me to make sure our students have the tools they need to succeed in life.
Smart says she wanted to see the self-defense courses taught in schools after she was assaulted on an airplane a few years ago.
I just said to my husband, do I just have a big sign across my forehead that says easy victim? I mean, how can this even be possible? And that is when I knew that I wanted to do something more. Because if it was happening to me, then how many other people was it happening to?
SUU has just started teaching smart defense, but classes are already full.
The buzz is strong on campus. Everybody's asking, when can I join? Can I sign up for next year, next semester?
In addition to martial arts, the courses teach other things like boundaries and bystander awareness. Smart says that's just as important.
Because if people weren't paying attention in my story, and if they didn't pick up the phone when maybe they weren't 100% sure, and called the police and said, I think I just saw Elizabeth Smart, if they hadn't taken that additional step, I mean, I might not be here.
The founders say they're open to expanding this to anybody who's interested. Members of the Utah State Legislature are also intrigued with the idea of offering this in other schools.
I'd like to see it everywhere.
Lawmakers were in the audience at the demonstration to see if the curriculum should be expanded to other schools.
I think it's got merit. And when we have a university like SUU, we have a model.
Ben Winslow, Fox 13 News, Utah.
A looming strike could affect every single American. How the nation's train system could derail your budget even more than inflation.
RSL played a big match tonight in Austin with a big playoff implication. Could they leave town with a result? And number 45 has a new jersey. Donovan Mitchell, officially introduced in Cleveland. We'll hear his thoughts about being traded by the Jazz.
By the end of this week, freight trains could stop on their tracks because of stalled negotiations between labor unions and the rail companies. And this is the first time it could possibly happen in decades.
Fox 13 News reporter Maithili Gubi spoke to economics professors in Utah to see how that could impact you and your wallet.
I hope it really doesn't happen. It will have some pretty negative effects for everyone.
This Friday, September 16th, is the deadline to formalize labor negotiations between unions and rail companies. But if they don't come to a deal, work could stop, adding to the burden of a supply chain that's already struggling, even if it's for a short time, according to Philip Witt at UVU.
We already have a labor shortage in the transportation and logistics field in general, and so to try to shift 30% of the goods to trucking or other means is going to be a challenge for many companies.
The Association of American Railroads reports that if the strike does go into effect, $2 billion would be lost every day, and impacts would trickle down to everyday Utahns right away.
Oil prices increasing, food prices increasing. Lumber would be the other one.
Here is one of the Union Pacific rail yards where trains could be if work stops. Union Pacific released a statement Tuesday saying if the strike does happen, they will increase security in areas like this to help items on trains stay safe if they're not delivered on time. Union Pacific and BNSF are the two railroad companies that employ people here in Utah. BNSF sent us a statement in part saying, quote, throughout the collective bargaining process, we have continued to believe that it is in the best interest of our customers, employees, and the public for railroads and unions to settle this dispute without delay and prevent service disruptions. Tom Maloney with the University of Utah says it could be a momentous strike, and he doesn't think the stoppage will be long-term.
I think this is the leverage that these workers have is that they are, serving all of us in important ways. And we're going to notice when conditions deteriorate enough that they feel they need to take action.
But Witt adds that this doesn't mean people need to stock up and hoard supplies because that would only make the shortage worse.
Be cautious and not overreact and cause shortages on our own by going out and buying massive amounts of various products, then that is probably beneficial to everyone.
In Salt Lake, I am Maitili Gubi, Fox 13 News, Utah.
Tomorrow is the start of Hispanic Heritage Month, and Utah's Mexican and Mexican-American community are starting the celebration early.
Oh, big celebration. Nearly 212 years ago, a Catholic priest in Dolores, Mexico, rang his church bell, calling the people to fight Spain for their independence. Today, Utahns with ties to Mexico celebrated with music, dance, and of course, food in the Gallivan Center in downtown Salt Lake City. Tomorrow, several other Latin American countries also celebrate their independence from Spain, Costa Rica, El Salvador, Guatemala, Honduras, and Nicaragua.
Well, in the past 24 hours, we've had some impressive rain totals for portions of the state. So a couple things that I want to point out. We've had a lot of rain across northern Utah and a lot of rain across southwest Utah. What you're seeing highlighted in green for the majority of you along the Wasatch Front, you saw around ½ of an inch of rain or less. However, there were a few pockets today out towards Olympus Cove, right on that east side belt, right near the mouth of Parley's Canyon, and just south of the airport where we saw more than 1.5 inches of rain. That's highlighted in purple. Areas of blue, that's between ½ of an inch and 1.5 inches, and we have some more rain in the forecast. For tonight, we've been seeing a lot of rain out in Tooele County. A lot of what you're seeing on radar wasn't quite making it to the ground across the Salt Lake Valley right now, but we do have some lightning strikes along I-80 past Grantsville. So out towards Dugway, you're probably seeing some of those lightning strikes off in the distance tonight. And then we also have some scattered thunderstorms down along I-15 and east of I-15, just north of Panguitch and near Beaver tonight. So into the overnight hours, we're going to continue with temperatures that are rather comfortable. 60s and 50s for overnight lows with the chance for a few showers into the overnight hours. Isolated in nature across northern Utah with some clearing in the southern half of the state tonight. So for tomorrow, Salt Lake 80, 76 in Ogden, 76 in Provo. For southern Utah, Moab, 72 tomorrow, 82 tomorrow for Moab, 72 in Price, and for Vernal tomorrow, 72 degrees. And then our rainfall forecast here across the state north of I-70 pulls us back to more chances for ½ of an inch of rain or more, mainly from Salt Lake County up into the Wasatch Mountains, and then North Salt Lake up through Ogden likely is where we could see more than 1 inch of rain, and this will be over the course of tomorrow. So our flash flood potential is possible for Bryce Canyon, Capitol Reef, the San Rafael Swell, and Zion National Park, and it's not expected elsewhere as the focus is on northern Utah. St. George, you're sunny and close to 85 to 90 throughout your 7-day forecast. You will have partly cloudy sky by Friday, but you're going to have a fantastic weekend ahead. For Salt Lake, 80 degrees tomorrow. By Friday, we're looking at 77. Air quality tomorrow will be good. By Friday, we're back to moderate air quality, both with unrestricted action for Thursday, Friday. And then as we head into this weekend, we're going to have less of a chance for storms by Sunday. So let's break down rain chances for the Wasatch Front. Salt Lake, tomorrow, scattered storms. Thursday night is our best chance for storms here in Salt Lake City. Widespread storms Thursday night. By Friday, you are back to scattered storms in the forecast. A little bit drier by later in the weekend with temperatures around 80 Sunday and Monday with sunshine.
It's crunch time for Real Salt Lake. They went into tonight's match in Austin in the 7th and final playoff spot, which is 5 games to play, so any result would be big for RSL. RSL had some good scoring chances in the first half as they controlled the run of play, but that all changed in the second half. Poor defending led to this goal from Musa Jite, who came on as a sub. One touch gives Austin a lead in the 60th minute, and that goal changed the match. Austin had RSL on their heels the rest of the way. Corner kick, shot goes off the post. It's not cleared by RSL, and Jite one-touch goal again. Austin also almost scored on the volley here, and Jite's there to put it away. Austin up 2-0 in the 76th minute. Then just 4 minutes later, Austin back on the attack, and Jite again, his 3rd goal of the match. Austin won it 3-0 to clinch a playoff spot in a disappointing loss for RSL. The Donovan Mitchell trade has been one of the biggest storylines in the NBA this offseason. Would he return home to play for the New York Knicks or stay with the Utah Jazz? It's been the talk of summer. But today he was officially introduced as the newest member of the Cleveland Cavaliers. He had a good run with the Jazz, making the playoffs all 5 seasons he played in Utah, but they never made it past the second round. So the Jazz felt it was time to trade away their 2 All-Stars. First Rudy Gobert, then Mitchell, who was asked if he saw all this coming.
That wasn't a thought during the year. After we lost, that wasn't a thought for a little bit. You know, that's pretty much every question I was asked after we lost, and I really wasn't thinking about it. But for me, once Rudy got traded, you know, I kind of saw the writing on the wall. You know, it's kind of, you know, I think we all did, you know, and I think we understood we had a good run. I kind of had a feeling I was going to get moved. I thought it was New York. I'm not going to lie to y'all, but, you know, and obviously who doesn't want to be home next to their mom, you know, and I've lived at home since I was like in 8th grade. I've been at boarding school and whatnot, so it would have been nice. But, you know, once I found out I got traded and what we're going into, like that trumped everything for me. You know, like I said, I'm truly excited to be here, to be a part of this group, to be a part of this city.
Yeah, he's left his mark on this city and the state of Utah on and off the basketball court, but Donovan Mitchell area is now over with the Jazz as they look to rebuild with a young team and a new head coach. The Jazz right now have 17 players under contract. You can only have 15.
Uh-oh.
So they got to have that number cut down by 2 before training camp. So the Jazz are not finished wheeling and dealing just yet.
Oh gosh, and we've got 17 really nervous guys out there tonight, right?
Probably, yeah.
Thanks, Jeff.
We'll be right back.
We want to leave you with this. 41 Utahns were sworn in as American citizens at the Kearns Library today. The naturalization ceremony was held as part of Welcoming Week, which celebrates the contributions of immigrants and refugees and the role communities play in ensuring they feel welcome in the United States. The county will hold more events throughout the week celebrating diversity in Utah.
And we welcome them as full-fledged citizens of the United States and the state of Utah. Way to go.
Glad you're here. Thanks everyone for watching.
QuickCast is up next.